So guys, I'm just trying. I want to do my makeup now, but I think I'm going to have to shape my balls right from that.
His grace towards me was not in vain, but I labored more abundantly than they all. I see exchange here. I am the least of them, but God gave me the grace of God. I am what I am. He changed my identity. And then when he changed his identity, when he changed my identity, says Paul, when he changed the way that I saw myself, when he changed the way I saw what he was
doing. So guys, I
doing
have to come back and just start doing my makeup. So this one is going to be like a makeup with me. I think I'm actually enjoying this live thing.
Just because you allowed me to have grace on credit.
This stuff is blunt.
God help me. Some people in this room got grace on credit.
And I don't know if I have another.
And then when you step into the grace, I want you to live in such a way that I know that my grace was not in vain. That you recognize what this is. Because if you recognize what this is, you won't do that again. That's why we can love people with grace for real. I don't have to condemn you to make sure you don't make the same mistake over and over again.
I mean, it's blunt, but it's doing its thing either way, but it's still very blunt.
Be so good to you that you never want to go back to who you were before. It is the grace of God, the goodness of God that kept showing up in his life that says, now I feel obligated. What can I render unto you, God, for all that you have done to me? I feel obligated. I am a slave to the gospel, not because I did everything right, not because he actually chained me, but because he kept chasing me with his grace. And I finally turned around and I said, God, don't you know I'm ready? God, don't you know I'm bad? God, don't you know you could get somebody else, but you keep chasing me into this bar. You keep chasing me into.
So for this makeup, I'm just going to, it's going to be a very simple makeup, to be honest. I'm not doing anything too serious. For my brows, I just had to like, because this thing is so sharp, it's so blunt, I can't actually shape my brows very well. Hi, how are you doing? Hi, Maka Pakasraka. How are you doing? Nice to meet you. Where are you chatting from? I'm using this Avoir micellar water. This is actually one of my favorite micellar waters to use whenever I want to cleanse my skin before I start my makeup. Avoir products are really nice, to be honest. So this will just clean all the makeup from my skin before I start my makeup. So the makeup I'm doing is very simple today. I'm just going straight to the point because I do not have a lot of time. Some people used to say they don't like using wipes in their skin. For me, I've never really had any bad, like, what's the word now? Any bad encounter with using wipes on my skin. So I really do not have an issue with using wipes on my skin. Even though a lot of people swear by not using it, like, I don't know why. Hi, how are you doing? I don't know how to pronounce your name very well. I don't want to spell it. Okay, hi, Azabekan. Did I pronounce that right?
I want you to give it to me. Don't give it to me. See, the reason that most of us end up with our hearts broken is because we were giving our weakness to other weakness.
You're welcome. So this micellar water just cleans all the dirt of your skin before you go ahead with your makeup. I'm doing well, thank you so much. Okay, so my face feels clean enough to start my makeup. Oh, you don't speak English. I don't. Okay. What language do you speak?
I don't want to be weak like this anymore. This weakness is messing up my destiny. This weakness is messing up my family. This weakness is changing the way I see myself. This weakness is about to keep me from being who you've called me to be. You gotta go to war with your weakness, because your weakness gonna mess you
I'm currently listening to Sarah Jake's sermon, but yeah,
The weakness is in the way.
I'm going to be using Avoir Primer as well.
That weakness is in the way. And you don't just get it out of the way by ignoring it. And you don't get it out of the way by pretending you're going to be confident.
Like this bottle, like whenever you want to press out a primer, you usually have to stress yourself to press it. The application process is not very seamless. Why I actually like micellar water is that like it helps to just remove all the dirt on your skin before you start your makeup, right? And it makes like the application of your makeup very easy. So I'm actually going for a wedding. That's why I'm doing my makeup.
But when I got this revelation that my weakness can have a
So after this makeup session, I think I'm gonna leave it on my channel. It depends. I might remove it. I don't know if it helps to watch hours.
boasting in my infirmities, because the more I boast about it, the more he brings on it, and the more he brings on it, the power of God rests upon me. His strength was made perfect in the place where I experienced hell. You stayed in
I really like this primer. It's really good for makeup.
That's not my message. And I'm trying to calm down. But I just gotta let you know that you're standing in the room where hell tried to attack me. You're standing in the room where hell said, I'ma get her pregnant. So she never opens her mouth. At 13 years
Thank you
old,
so much.
put her in a room and tell her you'll never have access to the gift of God you see in everybody else. And heaven said, one day she gonna give me all that.
All these breakouts I'm having are from the stress that I've been through.
Okay. Hold on.
But either way, it's part of life.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you visited for the first time. I'm sorry. You don't even know me like that. But let me tell you something. I know something about the grace of God. I know something about the goodness of God. I know I don't have no business in this place.
So yeah, that's enough primer for my skin.
I'm going to boast in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. I'm not going to whisper about these infirmities. I'm not going to ignore these infirmities.
Okay.
I'm going to make an exchange. I give God my weakness.
So next thing I'm gonna do is use this on my skin. What do they call these things again? I can't remember. Setting powder, yeah. So this is going to be like a layer on my skin.
That we make with God requires that we really see the little bit of value that we bring.
So the thing with makeup or my own makeup is that it can look crazy at first, but over time it's going to look better. So I'm just using this setting powder to just make my skin a little bit matte. I think a little bit of hair entered my eye.
Off our own supply that we don't see the gap between who we are and who God is. And you
Great.
start to think to yourself, maybe I'm not that bad. I mean, I did do this, I did do that. But it is the grace of God, not the grace of man.
So everything I use is actually avoir. So I'm just going to put avoir here. Not everything actually, but most things that I use avoir. Because I'm doing a very minimal makeup, I'm just going to go straight with my concealers at the right place.
Grace is running in the background of the Old Testament. We see the word grace, the Hebrew word for grace, mentioned for the first time in Genesis 6.
Then I'm going to contour here. I'm just going to put everything at once.
It says in Genesis 6, he looked at all of the earth and he was sorry that he made them. He says, but Noah found grace in his eyes. This concept of grace is not what we know of it now. This is the first time we see grace. And it
Yep, that's my contour. I think that's enough.
running in the background of the Old Testament. It taught me that ultimately, when Noah found grace in God's eye, that he found the ability to give to Noah what he could give to no one else. He found favor in God's eyes. And the thing about this is that it doesn't tell us
my foundation is also, is this, yeah, avoir. I love avoir so much. But the reason I actually like avoir is because I feel like their products are very, I don't know the right word to use. They just fit my skin so well. And they are also, I think they are affordable. I think they are. So I'm going to be using my beauty blender. It's a little bit down.
But there is something to be said about man looking at the outward appearance, but God looking
And I'm just
at the
going to
heart.
blend all of this together. And this is like my easiest way to do makeup. Like it's so easy. And it's also so fast.
Said that Noah found favor in God's eyes.
So just 2 pumps of foundation and everything will just blend seamlessly. So that was the first pump. I'm going to put another one, and it's lightweight. The first makeup that I did last, that I posted this Damian Road challenge on it wasn't my makeup. It was someone that did makeup for me.
Noah finds grace in God's eyes. He gives Noah a download about what is to come.
So for here now,
Too often we see grace as a one-off. That there is grace that is confined to a particular situation.
for here,
That God showed me grace in this one instance. And even when we talk about Noah finding grace in God's eyes, we kind of limit it to him giving the instruction that the flood is coming, and he built the ark, and we kind of make it seem that that is the end of grace. But what I learned in reading this text is that when Noah found grace in God's eyes, that ultimately God invited him into a lifestyle of grace. Yeah. Because it's not just grace for you to be preserved. It also takes grace for you to build something you've never seen before. It requires grace for you to understand that there's going to be an element that you've never experienced that's going to hit the earth. It doesn't just take grace to get onto the ark and build the ark. There's a special kind of grace that also happens when the flood has withdrawn. And now I have to build my life again. And he invited him into a lifestyle of grace. And as long as we see grace as temporary, we will never get the level of obedience that unlocks a lifestyle of grace that allows us to stand in moments we would have never had access to. But for the grace of God, now I'm living a lifestyle
so
of grace.
blend,
I
blend,
prophesy
blend,
over
blend,
somebody
blend.
in this room that the moment that you recognize that you have found grace in the eyes of the Lord, that you have a responsibility to be obedient to that grace. I don't know who you are in this room, but God has told you time after time, I have graced you for this. I have graced you for something in the earth that only you can too. And you want to understand what's on the other side of the grace. I know I'm talking to somebody in this section because I keep getting pulled over here. I know that I have graced you for something, but you'll never see the fullness of what I have graced you for until you are obedient to the yes that is required in this moment. Maybe you're over here too, and God has graced you for something like Noah. I found grace in the eyes of the Lord, and I keep seeing this grace, but I don't trust this grace. I don't trust the grace that I found in the eyes
That
of
thing
the
I
Lord.
was saying about stopping, like if I want to talk, like if I want to get serious about what I'm doing, I won't be able to talk. Ooh, if it not yo. I need to respect myself. Thank you everyone.
Can you imagine that we see grace for the first time as a word in Genesis 6?
That thing I was saying about when I start doing something now, I won't be able to concentrate. Like I have to just focus on one particular thing. That's what's happening right now.
Jesus told them, God told them in Genesis 2, you eat from this tree, you will surely die. That was the rule. That was the law. And they broke it. But they did not die. They got results that they didn't deserve, even though they broke the rules. And instead of them really dying, now an animal that was minding his business has to die to cover the thing that they should have never been in the first place. If that's grace, I don't know. If that's not grace, I don't know what is. Because how are you covering something that I messed up? Oh, God, see, some of you, oh, Jesus, this is my word. Y'all can just hear my word. You see, there are some messes I got myself into. There were some things that God
I
should
don't
have
know
had to
what
cover at all.
happened, but
There were some things where I should
there's
have
like
thrown
a
myself down at the mercy of the court.
I don't know what I did wrong, and that's very unusual with my makeup. But something is off around here, and I'm trying to see how I can fix it. Now, do you know one thing? I hate when makeup is cakey, so I don't want to make it cakey, and I don't know what the issue is. But find a way around it. There's like a gap somewhere around here.
Who will end up paying the consequences for what you did. And that's how you know that the grace of God is with you. Because it really shouldn't have been them that lost their job. You owned up to the
Okay, I
mistake
think it
in
looks a
everything,
little
but
better
some
now.
kind of way, God still preserved you. There were people who end up paying consequences for things that you should have been paying the consequence for. Some of you ought to be in jail. Some of you ought to be in the hospital. Some of you ought to be on food stamps and working from check to check. But somebody else is paying for consequences that didn't have anything to do with what they did. But because God said for some reason I'm going to cover you and I'm going to... What I find interesting about this, in Genesis, when God shows them grace by slaughtering this animal to cover them, he does kick them out of the garden.
So I'm just blending it down, right, so that there is no
A version of their lives did not.
what they call it,
Their life itself didn't die.
like everything just needs to be
But
seamless.
there was a
That's just
version of life as they knew it that
the
ended in
trick
that moment.
with makeup.
Help me understand another mystery of grace that I think is important for all of us to know. That even though life as you know it may have ended, maybe you're not in the sunset. Maybe that person is never coming back to life. Grace is not
The funny thing is, I don't know when next I'll come live.
keeping that life alive.
It's just today that I kind of have time to do
Sometimes
this.
grace is about showing you how to live again.
So enjoy it while you can see me on here, because I'm always very busy.
Their life didn't end the way that it should have.
Okay.
But God paves the way for them to experience life again. That's grace too. is that you can have joy again, that you can have peace again. Not that the situation goes back to being what it was, but sometimes grace is I can't change what happened, but I can offer you the opportunity to live again in a way you never thought was possible. I wish that would have never happened. I wish that your life would have been preserved. I wish it would have stayed protected. But my grace is sufficient enough to help you understand.
So I went back to the setting powder so I can just set here and set here.
Again, and that life still allows you to.
And I'm also going to set my brows so that I'll be able to draw it. My brows are so full. I need to get like those. I don't want to use normal blade to shape my brows.
When we see God giving chance after chance after chance, that what we're really seeing is Him setting up a template of grace where you don't always do the right thing and you don't always get the right answers. But because I so believe in who you can become, I'm going to show you that there's life after mistakes. I'm going to show you there's life when you should have been dead. There are some of you in this room who are sitting next to a corpse and you don't even know it. But because God allowed them to live again, that thing that is sitting next to you is someone who has been resurrected. That thing sitting next to you is someone who had suicidal thoughts and thought I shouldn't be here. You sitting next to a corpse. I didn't even want to live to see another day. But for some reason, the grace of God gave me another chance. And now the life that I'm living is really not my own. The life that I'm living is the life that I was resurrected to embody. The life that I'm living is the life that God said, if you can just hang on and survive, I'm going to bring you back to life. I want to prophesy to somebody in this room. And you've been feeling like you're on your last leg. You've been feeling like this life is over. You've been feeling like there is nothing else for you to do in the earth because you've made so many mistakes. Because you've been the victim of so many mistakes.
This is Ezekiel's palette powder. I'm going to use it for contour.
Grace on the other side of this for you to live again. I don't know who stole from you. I don't know who betrayed you. I don't know what betrayal you allowed to happen on your own. But I hear God saying that there is life after your shame. There is life after your heartbreak. There is grace for you to live again. I dare you to take a deep breath and let the devil know. You should have killed me when you had the chance. But for some reason, he keeps breathing air into my lungs. I hear God saying that your breath is a threat to the enemy because your breath is a reminder that my grace is still sufficient. Your breath is a reminder that though he slay me, I can still trust in him. Your breath is a reminder that he's not finished with me yet. My story is still being written.
Amen.
Still rejoicing when I wake up in the morning. Hell tried to unleash hell on me, but heaven kept pulling me back. Heaven kept chasing me down. I think I'm going to go on and live again. I think I'm going to go on and try again. I think I'm going to go on and elect myself to get back in position so that I can become all that God has called me to be.
Powder.
I think I'm going to try anyway. I think I can still be fruitful. I don't know who you are. You've been in a drought. But I hear God saying, get ready for rain. Because the moment you get a revelation that my grace sees past your drought, I'm going to unlock the windows of heaven. And I'm going to pour you out a blessing that you don't have room enough to receive. What is that blessing? That blessing is getting your mind back. That blessing is getting your heart back. That blessing is getting your hunger back. We always say that enemy meant it for evil, but God turned it for good. But that's not what it says. It says you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. There were two intentions that were happening at the same time. So when we say that God turned it, it makes it seem like it did start off evil, but then God turned it around. No. Genesis 50 and 20 actually points out that it's not that God turned it, it's just although they thought it was evil, I actually thought it was good. I'm reminded of Jesus on the cross when he said, forgive me, Father, for they know not what they do. They think that they're doing something that's good, but I actually know that it's going to be even better because when you get finished with it, they think it's evil, but when you get finished, they're going to see that it was actually good. There is something powerful about knowing that there are two intentions moving at the same time. I know you mean one thing, but God means another thing. So you can keep your intentions. God doesn't have to change it. still means it's for good. I didn't have to get the job. It felt like it was evil that I didn't get the job, but God must have meant it for good. It felt like it was tragic that I went through the breakdown, but God meant it for good. I gotta hang on to this truth that God meant it for good, because my mind is trying to convince me that God meant it for evil, or that God was not in it at all. But I am reminded, because of who He is, that He knows how to allow the wheat and the tare to grow up at the same time. And it is not until harvest season when the threshing floor will make the difference. The threshing floor is when we will separate what you meant for evil. My God meant for good. You thought I was going to stumble, but God says I'm going to pick you up. You thought it would kill me, but God says I'm no CPR. You right, it took me out, but He's got resurrected power. You meant it for evil. It's not even what I'm preaching about. I don't even know what that's about. But it feels like somebody got breakthrough. It feels like someone's trying to keep it tight, because we got a journey to go on. I got two things working at the same time. You might think you're at the end of your rope, but God says I'm about to give you some wings. I got two things working at the same time. If you don't break down, I can't build you up. I got two things working at the same time. What happens not just when God allows what the enemy of the evil means to do, what happens? Not when the evil turns out to be good. What happens when what's good starts to look evil? What happens when it felt like God was in it? God was in it. And who was it? How could it be that it could start off this good and end up making this evil? Told the truth that everything's on the line. I thought it was good. This is why we can never have the knowledge of good and evil, because now what was good has evil consequences. What was
I want to
good has a
conceal
consequence.
my brows
Maybe
now.
I should have kept it to myself. Maybe I should have just stayed. Maybe I should have never moved.
I think
Maybe I should have never
I
trusted. Maybe I should have never took the therapy. Maybe I
use
should
the
have never
different
spoken up.
brush
It started off
for
good.
that.
My heart was in the right place. I knew that God was in it. I knew that He was going to see me through. God, I stepped out on faith and it felt like it was good. But now it feels like I'm sinking and I'm drowning. God, help me to understand how the good turn out to be.
Well, I'm almost on my makeup. How many minutes have this been? I cannot remember.
God, you told me that you would prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies. But
In life, there's always going to be things that you don't know. God is working in your life. I'm telling you, if you have prayed a prayer in faith that is according to the will of God, God is working. It's not hard to do what you're supposed to do when everything feels good, but how about continue to do what's right when nothing right seems to be happening to you? When do you come to fully trust God? I'll tell you what I think it takes. Don't be surprised.
It's been 30 minutes. Oh my God.
God is growing you up.
I thought I was usually faster with this makeup.
You may not thank God for it now, but someday you'll look back. I look back and I thank God. Now, for some of the hardest experiences that I had in my life, and some of the
Okay,
places
so
where God put me that were
just finishing the brush.
I mean, like Christians doing things and
I'm gonna
treating
put
people in
little
ways
here.
that just were not right. And I didn't understand why I was there. And you know what? I didn't learn what to do. I learned what not to do. And sometimes the only way you learn not to mistreat other people is to be in a situation where you're being unfairly mistreated. Come on. And then you learn it because you know what it feels like. You just don't know what I had to go through to be able to help you today. Joe waited. Ruth and Esther waited. I've waited. I'm waiting on some things now. How many of you are waiting on something? Okay, well, I can't do anything about the wait, but if you're really listening, I can help you enjoy life while you're waiting. That's the key. I can help you enjoy life while you're waiting. And boy, does that make the devil mad. John 10:10. The thief only comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus said, I came. I love that. That just messes up the devil's whole plan. I came. Now, we wouldn't even have to say anything else. I came that you might have and enjoy your life and have it in abundance to the full until it overflows. Why don't you make the devil mad and start enjoying your life? And I mean learning how to enjoy ordinary, everyday life. Just life. If we can just slow down enough to actually recognize the presence of God, and maybe some of you don't even know what I'm talking about, I don't know, but there is an actual presence of God that you can, I'm not going to say feel, but you can discern it, you can sense it, you know it.
Right, I'm listening to Joyce Meyer.
But it's only when we slow down enough to recognize that we enjoy it. And when the Bible says, have joy in the Lord, there's a joy, a deep down spiritual something that comes to you, no matter how big your problems are, if you can spend time in the presence of God and you know that He's walking with you, it overrides everything else that's going on in your life. Because you just know that He's going to take care of it. Some way, somehow, someday when He's good and ready, He's going to take care of it. But we're all waiting on something, but we just can't get God to tell us when. How's my father? Am I going to have to put up with this? When are you going to change my life? I'm not talking about mine as a new person. David's a special guy. There's going to be a section in heaven that only he and God live in. I just like to talk to people about this kind of stuff. It's like, I said, what is your greatest weakness? And he couldn't think of anything.
Oopsie, my battery's almost low. Either way, I'm almost done with it.
I mean, he knows he has weaknesses, but
let me do some
he's got it all working for him.
eyeshadows, then call it a day.
He's not the least bit insecure. He could not care less what people think.
Eyeshadows.
So when I say what's the greatest weakness, the reason why he doesn't know is because he don't focus on it. He doesn't focus on them because he figures, well, God knows me and he knows what's right, he knows what's wrong, and I'm trusting him to take care of things. Ooh, that's when life gets sweet. Now, if you ask me, what are your weaknesses? I can name them all. Because I try so hard to change. Come on, you get it? I try. God, what do you want me to do? As if we think us doing something is going to change it all. And you know what the answer is? He wants us to believe him, to trust him, to wait on him with a good attitude. Yeah, but what does he want me to do? We can't get off of the doing. We're not human doings, we're human beings. Oh my God. Acts 16, Acts 1, 6 and 7. So when they had come together, they asked him, Lord, will you at this time restore the kingdom to Israel? And he said to them, it is not for you to know times or seasons that the Father has fixed by his own authority. Can you believe that? There's some things that you're just not supposed to know. You don't have to know everything. Someone tell somebody next to you, you don't have to know everything. Well, that don't take that long to say that. See how
Okay.
you just a little bit of liberty, and you all just got lost doing your own thing. Now I gotta try to get you back. Luke chapter 18.
So I'm going to try my best to finish this makeup, but I have to go quickly do something. So I'll be back. I think I'll be back when I'm done with my makeup. If not, I'll see you guys in another live. Mwah.